How do you go from being unable to walk for over a year to running a successful fitness business? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
You serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
Let's go.
This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it out.
What is up? What is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Welcome back to your weekly dose of fit business learning. Or maybe it's fitness in business learning. I don't know. It's one of them. Anyway, I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you? Well, that is infinitely more important, my friend. You are a driven entrepreneur or one in the making. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here coming at you with another big episode today. Today, Lisa Peranzo shares how she went from being unable to walk for well over a year due to an accident to firing up and figuring out her own fitness business. And then how she pivoted when COVID slapped her business square in the face. Plus, I'm going to let you in on next week's interview episode guest who launched one of the biggest WordPress software companies in Southern California with her husband. Now, I know you're getting value. If you're certainly not getting value from me, you're definitely getting the value from these amazing guests I've been lucky enough to bring on. So if you are, I know you want to keep getting all these weekly interviews as well as the daily success tips. So please be sure you go on down there, hit that subscribe button while you're there. Yeah, that's right. Go ahead, leave us a 5-star rating. Drop us some kind words in the reviews. You see these subscribes, ratings, and reviews. Yeah, they tell the podcast platform algorithms, you know, those little computer thinking brains, right? To lift us up a little bit in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like yourself. So again, I know you're getting the value. Please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. And yeah, as per usual, these dark horse corrals are chock full of personal, business, and marketing GOLD spilling from every corner of the Dark Horse Entrepreneur HQ. My tongue tripped over my eye teeth and I can't see what I'm saying. So let's get to the starting gates and go. Alrighty, my Dark Horse friends and family. Today's guest is Lisa Peranzo. You know, I didn't even ask her if I was going to mention that, say that correctly. Hopefully it's right. She'll tell me if it wasn't. Now, Lisa has over 10 years of experience in the fitness industry. Now, wait, don't leave me yet. Stick with me on this one, okay? She has worked in a diverse population, including first responders, athletes, and adolescents. Her experience in the fitness industry has also included working with clients to rehab from a variety of injuries, from spinal cord injuries to brain injuries, recovering from childbirth to sports-related injuries, as well as joint replacements. Now, her focus has always been to help her clients find their own strength and power through their fitness routine or from their fitness routine. Now, she's a PMA accredited Pilates instructor, a senior trainer, a certified CrossFit instructor, a certified cowbell instructor. Now, hold on, stick with me here. A certified bar above instructor. Lisa is also certified in paleo nutrition, a bachelor's degree in psychology, and a master's degree in human behavior. Are you feeling a trend here? All right. She's a contributing writer for Health Web magazine, as well as Smartrepreneur magazine. In addition to being the founder and CEO of Healthful Life, Lisa has been featured on various magazines and on podcasts, beyond this one, of course, but this is the most important one, like San Diego Voyager magazine, Combat Divas, the Poorly Written podcast, and Radical Resilience. Now, Lisa's here to tell her story, teach us some lessons, and drop some healthy value bombs. Lisa, welcome to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur.
Thank you for having me. Every time someone reads my bio, I'm like, holy crap. Who's that person? They sound fancy.
I know. Sometimes you're like, phew, man, I've done a lot of stuff.
You know, it's shocking because I'm still only 25.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Stop. I know. There's so much packed in there. And before we started this actual recorded part of the interview, we were talking music, and you shared you were on a different path. And so, really, I want to step back from the mic here and let you just kind of tell your story: the good, the bad, the ugly, the good road, the bumpy road that you have traveled to get to where you are today, and why you love doing what you do so much.
Oh, well, then I will start with the music part because that's kind of where we left off.
Yes.
And that was literally what I did. I started playing music when I was 9, and I still play music still to this day. Well, I should say not currently today because I'm recovering from an injury, so I can't play, but that's okay. That's a story for another podcast. I really thought growing up, like that was what I was going to do. I was going to be a professional musician. Like I was telling you, Tracy, I wanted to be a studio musician, not the one on the stage. Love the ones on the stage. Not for me. I wanted to be the like behind the scenes musician. And I got talked out of that path. And right or wrong, whatever. I don't feel like there's any wrong answer for that. But when I started like figuring out what I wanted to do when I grew up, when I was like 17 or 18, which side note, that's insane. Like, how do you know what you want to be when you're big, when you're like 18?
Thank you.
I barely just learned how to tie my shoes. And you're like, how are you going to pay bills? And I'm like, what's a bill? A credit card?
I can't even coordinate my clothing. How am I supposed to choose a career path?
A budget? Career path? Like, you're telling me I need to go to college and it's going to determine everything in my life?
Right.
Like, what? So I went to college in Army ROTC. I actually ended up enlisting in the military, and I went the ROTC path because, in fairness, again, 18, not really knowing what I was doing, I got corralled into like the multi-purpose room of my high school, and they were like, take this test. And I was like, I don't know why I'm here. Sure, cool. And I started figuring stuff out. Turns out I was taking the ASVAB.
Oh, nice.
And I had been getting contacted by recruiters prior to that to just flat enlist. Mm-hmm. And then I took the ASVAB and I ended up scoring so high on it that they were like, no, you need to go for ROTC. Like, we think you would be a really strong candidate. And I was like, that's cool. Didn't really think I did well on that test because it was asking me stuff like, how do you change the oil on your car? And I was like, I take it to the oil change place. And they're like, so you're not going to be a mechanic? And I was like, probably not. So I went into Army ROTC, loved it. Absolutely. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I love the structure it gave me. I love the camaraderie that I got from the people around me. It gave me the opportunity to go to school. And about maybe like a year or two in, I was on a training exercise and I ended up getting very severely hurt. And I did not walk for the better part of a year. Mm. And that was the beginning of my journey into fitness.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right? Which was purely from the standpoint of figuring out how to have fitness as a component in my life to contribute to a healthy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So that I could continue to be active and not live in a state of chronic pain. Mm. So, because I know your listeners are curious people like me, and they're like, well, how did she get hurt though? And I want to know. I got you.
That's great. I was going to ask.
I know you were. Like, I can see it on your face. You're like, and? So I was doing an exercise called fast roping, which is a way to insert troops into tight areas via rappel technique. So if your listeners, I'm not aging myself, have seen Black Hawk Down, this is my go-to equivalent, and it has been since I got hurt. When they slide down the ropes out of a helicopter, that's fast roping. And that's what I was doing. And I will also say I did it technically perfect. And there is also a picture of me right before I hit the ground. I didn't fall, nothing like that. When I hit the ground, the thought from my doctor is that I landed on a rock. Mm. And I didn't have enough support in my boots, and my right foot shattered, fractured, and dislocated. Oh. One foul swoop just went.
Everybody just cringed at the same time.
Same.
Yes, right? Oh my goodness.
Total same.
Now, what was this this was during a training exercise? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we were out on a training, and I love rappelling. I have pictures of me rappelling, going like upside down and like doing all the crazy stuff. Now I have a huge fear of heights. Not going to catch me doing that at freaking all. I will rock climb, and then I hit a point on that wall and I'm like, no.
That's it. I'm done.
I'm done. And we're going back down the hall. So I spent the better part of a year on essentially bed rest, multiple surgeries, tons of physical therapy. It took me pretty much that whole year to be able to walk without any sort of assistance, boot, cane, wheelchair, walker, otherwise, all the things.
Sure.
All the things. And I was very blessed that what was being really drilled into me during that time by my family, who was, I can't speak to how integrative they were with me getting past this. Had I not had them, I don't think I'd be where I am now. Mm-hmm. Hands down. And the medical care that I got, also completely integral. They kept honing in on like this idea of having a healthy lifestyle and what that would look like for me.
Sure.
And, you know, because by the time I got all this like wrapped up and could work out and stuff again, I was in my early 20s, which is when you think you're invincible. And so you're like,
yeah.
Yeah. And so I started like severely pushing my limits and like seeing what I could do. I wanted to like test my strength and test where my body was at. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just like I didn't want to be stuck into a box of like, she can't do that because of an injury.
Right.
You know, or like she can't do that because she's disabled. I didn't want that.
Sure.
And I should say, I should put this in more of a deeper context that when I got hurt, we were in the beginning stages of, we were in the war against terror. We were in Afghanistan, we were in Iraq, but we were in the beginning years of it.
Sure, like the early Desert Shield stages.
Yeah, like the early stages of it. And as I was getting hurt and recovering, I was seeing a lot of my friends either leave ROTC to go the enlisted route and go over onto combat fronts, or commission and go into combat fronts. I saw a lot of people deploy. I saw a lot of people come home. And my mindset was really like, I mean, I had friends who lost their lives over there. So for me, it was like my injury was not that significant in comparison to what they were experiencing.
Absolutely.
So I didn't want to be given like a special label because I didn't felt like I deserved it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I got through all of that and was like, okay, well, I'm going to go the traditional college route. And then I was like, I'm going to go into corporate America. And then I was like, well, this doesn't really work.
Yeah, this sucks.
This sucks. And fitness had kind of become a side hustle. I got my CrossFit certification. I got the paleo nutrition certification. And I was just kind of going along and training on the side. And it was cool and it worked. And then I got really disillusioned with corporate America. I loved what I did. Mm-hmm. At that time, I was working with victims of violence as an advocate.
Okay.
I felt what I did was extremely relevant. I had a very strong place in me giving back to my community and society and empowering people to be their best selves, which was what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like my time was necessarily being leveraged as efficiently as what it could have been. And I also felt like my reach was too small. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted to positively impact more people. And I just was getting to this place where like fitness was lighting me up more. It was becoming more of a passion. I was becoming more curious as to like people's underlying motivations for when it came to their fitness routine.
Sure.
You know, because there's so much mindset stuff that goes into it. And I was getting so curious about like the biomechanics of the body and how the body moves and, you know, how the body moves after being injured.
Yeah.
And, you know, how the body moves as, you know, a young person versus like, you know, an
old person.
No, I have clients older than you, Tracy.
Quiet.
I have a client who's in her 80s. I'll just share this story because she's hilarious. And I asked her one day, I was like, you look so good. It was like, you don't look like you're in your 80s. Like she looks like she's in her 60s. I was like, you look really, really good. How do you do it? And she was like, well, I drink red wine every day and I'm divorced. And I was like, okay. Die.
That's awesome.
I was like, I'm halfway there. And I got to the point where it was like, I need to make fitness be this full-time thing. So I quit my job with no game plan, which was not.
You're not the first person I've heard on this show that has said that.
Did she say not the first?
You're not the first.
I can't imagine that I am. Much to everybody's shock and dismay. And I just dove in 2 feet first. And now looking back on it, I'm like, that was really like the beginning of me being an entrepreneur, was me leaving corporate America and just being like, I'm okay with the very non-traditional schedule. Like, okay, I start work at 6 a.m. I need to be there at 5:30. I'm going to work on the holidays and I'm going to work on the weekends. And my initial goal was like, all right, well, I want to set out to make as much money as I was making in corporate America in a third of the time. And I did that in 6 months.
Nice.
And I looked forward to being able to do what I did every single day. I never had a case of the Mondays. You know, like Sunday night comes along and you're like, oh God, where is the end? So I don't have that. I haven't had that since I left corporate America. And it's been the absolute coolest thing that people are like, damn, you work every day. And I'm like, yeah, there's something I'm doing for the business every single day. And it doesn't feel like a chore.
It's funny you say that. I had I'm going to way back about 25 years ago in my Coca-Cola days, there was I'll call her a young lady, and she was probably 15 years my senior at the time. But her and her husband, Coca-Cola was going through some reductions, and she was offered this severance package to, leave the company early. And she goes, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this package. Now, it was probably a 70% pension, and she was probably 10 years away from full pension. And what she did, her and her husband did with that, they went and bought a childcare franchise. And, I stayed in contact with her. And after they got the site picked and did all the studies and everything. And the building was built and everything. And they got everything going. And I swung by and I was checking up on her. And she was like, man, I'm loving it. This is awesome. And so I said, so are you working less? You're working more? She goes, dude, I'm probably working 65, 70 hours a week, but I love it. And you could see it. Face was all lit up, totally excited. She was working more, but she was so enjoying every minute of it that it wasn't draining her like you're talking about. You got those Mondays. You're like, oh, I don't want to do this, right? It was actually building her up. And they ran that before I moved out of Georgia, at least 3 years. And no joke, it just comes back to your 80-year-old client you mentioned. It seemed like she was aging backwards.
Right?
I mean, it was all in her face. It's like, oh my God. And it was amazing to watch that. Now, obviously, as things progressed, they were able to hire people and staff. So she wasn't continuing to work that pace, but they bought another one and just repeated the process. And, they were making way more at the end of things and working way less. But again, they dove in, did all the work like you were talking about and the weekends. And it was far more enjoyable for them in the process. I'm sorry, I walked all over you on that one, but.
I love it though. Cause it just is like the power of finding your passion.
Yeah.
I think for me, it all goes back to that injury of like, well, a couple of things. One, feeling like, okay, I was given a second chance when a lot of people really weren't on a lot of different levels. Yeah. And I am of the belief that any action is an action, even if you're not taking any action. Like if you're deciding to sit down and do nothing, it's still an action.
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe it's not the best one, but it is still one. And my thought was like, I can't sit here with idle hands and do nothing when I've been given this chance when, I had, like I said, friends who had lost their lives very unfortunately, or friends who were coming home who really were not the same. As when they had left. And I know that I'm like, that's a whole other podcast because that's such a complex issue, right?
It is.
On a whole lot of levels. This was just how it impacted me personally. Yeah. And then the other part of my thinking was also like this life, I truly got to see how short this life really is. And when I had gotten hurt and was in first of all, I was in a hardcore grieving because I was grieving the loss of a career that I thought I was going to have.
Right.
And all those transition and changes that were very difficult for me. But I also got to hear like all the stupid things people say to you when you're in a grieving process. And what people were telling me was God saved you from something worse happening. That was what they were saying. And I would be like, okay, so what you're implying is that had I gone overseas, I would have died. I mean, that's a really positive outlook for you to have.
Yes.
Okay. But also, you have to understand that, like, I went into the military right after September 11th happened. I knew, much like many of us knew, where that was going.
Yep.
I knew that that was a possibility. I knew that. I think a lot of us knew that.
Sure.
So what like, for me, it was like falling on deaf ears. Like, you can't tell me this when like what I wanted to do was to be with my people over there serving.
Yeah. Right. And so God saved me, but not them. What are you trying to say about them?
Exactly. Exactly. And then it leads into that line of thinking. So like, what, am I better than them? And then after a lot of years of unpacking it in a therapeutic setting, because that was the most healthy thing to do.
I was going to ask, where'd you get the assistance?
Oh, yeah. It was, reasons aside, I don't know why this happened to me, but I know that this happened to me. So if I've been given this second chance, what am I going to do with it?
Yes.
And I had been shown kindness and love and support and encouragement from everyone around me on so many different kind of levels. It wasn't even a need. It was like, I have to pay this forward. And then everything I did from then, even working with the victims of violence, like I said, it was like, how do I empower my community? And what I do now, it's like, how do I empower my community from this standpoint of taking care of yourself and not feeling bad about it.
Right on.
And also not feeling like you need to do what the person next to you is doing. So I like started this fitness thing and I was going and cranking along. And then I had my daughter. She's a spitfire. Talk about a future podcast guest.
I can't imagine where she gets it from. Let's be honest.
She's more like her dad than me.
Oh, okay.
It's very scary. And they'll do things.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No, for real. He'll look at me and he'll be like, that sounds like me. And I'm like, because it is you.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic. I had my daughter and it was like, now how do I make healthy living be a part of my life as a parent?
Yeah.
When you're even more tapped out. Like, I thought I was tapped out to a degree before. I was not. This little bundle of joy.
Level up.
Yeah, the little bundle of joy who brought me to my knees, and now I need to level up. And I'm just like, holy moly. So I started like talking to clients about stuff, and I started talking to clients about my injury more because that was not something I had really shared in the past. Mm-hmm. Like, I would say stuff when I trained and they'd be like, I don't know how you're so motivating. And the way that I explain it is, number one, I don't remember the words that come out of my mouth. Sorry. Number two, I would say stuff and it would be, the words coming out of my mouth would be, the visual in my mind would be like from when I was hurt. I would be like picturing myself on bed rest with metal coming out of my foot post first surgery, not knowing whether or not I was going to walk again. Mm-hmm. And I would tell them, if you can get through every single one of your bad days, you can get through this.
Right. Yeah. No.
Like put it into perspective.
Well, yeah.
A 10-minute workout. You were
coming to them from their point of view, although, and luckily you were able to do that because you had shared an experience that enabled you to come at them from their point of view. And I think there's probably a number of folks out there that can learn from that lesson where they're like, no, trust me. What I'm telling you, I'm the expert, right? Listen to me. Just do what I say. No. You got to come to them from their point of view. So that's a perfect example of that.
Right. And the thing was that I had to learn how to make fitness work for me, given the limited capacities that I had. Mm-hmm. And so people would be like, you're so strong and you can do all of these things. And I never would have guessed that had happened to you. Because you don't move like that. You don't walk like you have an impediment at all. Mm-hmm. You don't talk about it really. And I started kind of sharing more with what had happened to me because it was a really dark time, just quite frankly. Sure. It doesn't mean that things got cute and comfortable overnight. It took a very long time. But I started sharing that more of like where I had to get my headspace to be able to come past all of that. Mm-hmm. And knowing that like, if I could find a way to step into my strength, I could help them do that for themselves too.
Well, and I can only imagine, I mean, just for the average Joe, and I can speak, first off, let me let you know, thank you for your service. And I know it was only ROTC service, but for me, that still counts. My dad, 23-year lifer in the United States Army. I joined right out of high school, 6 years. So I get all these connections about your friends going over there and what have you. So I totally get that. Now I just draw a blank of where I was going with this. Oh man, I hate when that happens, right? This old brain. we'll figure it out.
You're only
on.
25, not this old brain, like everybody.
Well, and that's there it is right there. I've got to watch the words, right? But and my wife has done amazing things for helping me. So when I met my wife, my current wife, and oh gosh, we're working on year 4 now. So I met her about working on 7 years ago now. I thought I was in okay shape. I knew I wasn't in great shape, right? But, I was a cheer dad. I had a daughter who was in those high-end cheer competitions. And I was that crazy dad that was running the flag around, doing her hair, very, very active, doing lots of things, And so I felt I was like okay condition. My tummy was a little bit bigger than I liked, but I can get to that later on, that kind of thing. And enter from stage left, my now wife. And she's very, very fitness, not focused, but certainly it's an active part of her world, right? She monitors what she eats and she monitors her workouts. She used to do lots of runs, and I saw the medals off there in the background behind you. I'm not sure if those are running medals or not, but so it was, nutrition and health was a big part of her life. And we began working out, like every day or, every third or fourth day. And I started realizing, okay, I'm not in bad shape, but I am definitely not in shape. Right. Oh my God. But where it took me after that was I started feeling so much better about me. So I already have a pretty good attitude about life in the first place. Just totally lifted it up another level, And so as I started hitting that, 50 mark and 51 and 52, we have changed, and she's always been like this, but I have changed it from being 50X years old to I am now level 55.
Yeah.
I'm leveling up, right? That's a whole different point of view. It's a whole different mindset. You're like, sure. I'm now level 55. Yeah. So anyway, I did want to ask, so when you first started my friend Zach Babcock, who has a podcast called the Underdog Empowerment podcast. Check it out if you haven't heard it.
Okay.
But he came on the show and he was talking about his journey. And in his journey, he said, I jumped off the cliff and decided to grow wings on the way down, which is his metaphorical way of saying, hey, I quit my job and I went out, and he went out, and got a loan, one of those title loans on your car with those crazy interest rates. He says, this is going to get me in the door, this mastermind of these people that I'm going to need to know and going to teach me these amazing things. Right. And then it's all about, all right, I still got kids to feed. Right. I got to pay the bills. So I got to learn it fast and I got to go do it. So you quit your job and you've got, okay, I'm going to go do this physical thing, right? This fitness thing. How did you go out? What were the first couple of steps you said, okay, I got to find a client and I got to find a client that's going to pay me. Right. What did that look like? I
was really, really blessed that I got connected with a brick and mortar that I still train out of. Well, we're currently closed because of COVID, but when we're open, currently train out of.
She's in California, everybody, I'm in
California. We're in lockdown number 7,000. Okay, it's fine. I got connected with the owner of the brick and mortar that I train out of, and God bless her. I love her. It's been almost 10 years of me working for her out of that brick and mortar, and I won't leave her. She took a shot on me as a brand new trainer. She was like, yeah, I didn't even have a certification yet.
Nice.
She saw me like teach. And she was like, I'm going to hire you. Pass your certification. Maybe you have a job. And I was like, shoot. Okay. And she took a total chance on me as a brand new instructor and mentored me. And really encouraged me to step into my authentic self as a trainer.
Nice.
And to be able to find my own style and how I would connect with people and how I would, organize the workouts and get the class flow and all the particulars of stuff, even down to the music. Mm-hmm. And people knew me as, for a while, the Pilates instructor who used to blast gangster rap. Because that was what the clients wanted to listen to. And I know that the mindset piece of this is so huge. We were talking about the music you were listening to when you were working out with your wife earlier.
Yeah.
If you have something powerful on, it will distract you from the pain you're putting your body through, and then you're more likely to push through to the end.
Truth.
Or it gives you that like piece of motivation. So for me, it was like, cool, they want to listen to Tupac. Well, it's not my workout. Like, I'm on it. Go for it. I don't care. I listen to whatever I listen to whatever lights me up that day. So it could be Tupac or something else.
Right.
But I was very lucky that I had someone take a chance on me and continue to take a chance on me. And then I had my daughter, and I started noticing this like pervasive issue with the parents in my community of like, I want to work out. I know what it takes to be healthy, to have a healthy lifestyle. Like, we're smart people. We know what that looks like.
Sure.
It was a matter of, I literally don't know how to do this.
You're now listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
I don't know how to put this into place. I don't know how to get from point A to point B. And even the prospect of putting those tools into place is daunting because my to-do list has 7 million different things on it, and it's never getting shorter.
Yeah.
And the thing that always gets pushed to the back is me.
Yeah. No, that's true. We know that's right.
Which is so true. So I started a Healthful Life as a blog because people were like, man, you're so funny when you talk about your daughter. Like, you're so funny. We need like that levity when it comes to parenting because it's such Thunderdome. Yes, it is though. You know, we need that humor and that like lightheartedness. You know, we look forward. People would tell me, I know that your classes are hard as hell, but I also know you're super motivating. And you know, you're funny AF because you're just, people would tell me I come to your class because you're so entertaining.
Nice.
I would be like, okay, I don't remember what I say though. I don't.
I believe you.
It's like stuff happens, and then the class is over. So I started a blog, and then people started asking for like, you know, workouts when I'm working from home one day, I can't get in, or when I'm going on vacation, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then it just kind of snowballed into this monetized thing of having recipes and a YouTube channel and then Instagram. And it just kind of like built. Okay. And it's still building, which is super, super cool. And when COVID hit, that's what I feel like it literally dropped on all of us.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. And people started having to work out at home. And I had already been doing that. That worked the best for me because I have a young child.
Right.
Trying to factor in like the daycare component and all the stuff, it didn't work. Mm-hmm. They were telling me, I don't know how to do this at home. I don't know how to make this work. I don't want to see myself regress. And I don't know how long we're going to be in this.
Right.
So I gave them like a couple weeks to be in their feelings because we needed to be, and that's fine. And then a couple weeks went by and I group text messaged them and I was like, look, this might be a cluster, but why don't we try a Zoom workout? And they said, okay. And we've been doing Zoom workouts live 3 days a week since the middle of March.
Nice. Yes, I was going to ask what happened with COVID. So that was a perfect transition. I can imagine Zoom workouts is a big thing.
And you know what? I can't even, and they know this, they will listen to this. Yeah. Because
Right on. Good.
They're loyal like that. I think since, you know, end of March, beginning of April, have learned more than I think they ever thought possible as far as fitness goes. Right. Not just about actual technique things, because now that we're at home, I can pull in all 70 million of those certifications.
Yeah.
You know, and I can use them all in one class.
Sure.
But also learning more about how their body moves because I am on a screen with them. They need to be more mindful. In fitness, it's called proprioception, the awareness of how your body moves in space in a physical capacity. Mm-hmm. They need to have that mind-body awareness so that they can keep themselves safe, which has all been amazing. I mean, they're learning Olympic lifting techniques. They're learning kettlebell stuff. I taught them the whole classical mat series from Pilates.
Okay.
Start to finish. They learned every major Olympic lifting move that you can do without a barbell, because I wasn't going to have them go and buy like a barbell and like a rack set or anything like that. Right. Or like a platform or anything. And we're moving on to kettlebell stuff now.
Have you seen, and I only know about this, I haven't seen it physically, but I heard about it from a marketing podcast that I listened to. This gentleman over in Australia runs it, and they were talking about this bar, and it's a weighted bar, and it comes in different weights. So imagine, if you will, if you ever looked under a 4x4 type of vehicle, right? And it's got that suspension bar helping balance things out. It's not a straight bar, right? So it's got the little arc, so it would go around your neck really well, right? And then it goes outwards. And it comes in different weights. And this gentleman, and I think he's based here in the States, that he was interviewing, makes these bars for the military, right? And this is all coming full circle now. And because they're weighted, they can pick different weights of a bar, the appropriate weight for the person or whatever. And they do a lot of those, a lot of the, I'll call them, or I don't know what they're called. You're the expert. I'm not. I'm just chiming in here. It's just my show. Anyway, but they use that bar in these varying different exercises. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty wicked cool. Cause he was saying he was using it to go mobile as a trainer when he first started. And he actually got it off his Jeep. And he sanded it down and polished it up and got it. And that's what gave him the idea. And then he found out the people that make these bars, and now he has a contract to get them made and then finished. But there are these amazing bars that I don't know, you probably know what they're called.
I think I've heard of them.
But yeah, check them out. I know it's something your customers could use, but it avoids that whole, you've got to change all the weights. But if it's, a 25-pound bar, makes a big difference, right?
No kidding. Yeah. And barbell.
Here's a question for me. So obviously from a business, we're a little bit business focused around here, but I love this fitness chat and I don't want to deviate away from it. But you start your fitness business and it's going on great. Lady takes a chance on you, mentors you in a whole 9 yards, and then bam, COVID. Yeah. And what do? Well, you give them a break. Get it? Everybody get your feelings together, right? We don't know what's going on. Let's just hold tight for a second. And then you come out, let's call it, you pivot, right? It totally pivoted. And now you're working with them. So when you first go at them, I imagine they didn't have all the supplies they would need. Did you come up with a different kind of routine to just to get them going? And then, the supplies start coming in, go to Amazon, whatever, get your mats, get your kettlebells, etc.
Yeah. Dude, even hit up your local TJ Maxx. Will have kettlebells for like $12 every once in a while.
Right. Hey, find this Facebook Marketplace, y'all.
Facebook Marketplace. Hey, that's a thing. It really is. It started as just like body weight, mat only. And then as they started buying equipment and stuff, it was, hey, would you want to try this?
Yeah.
And the thing for me that was really huge in that was first that sense of curiosity. It was a major pivot to move everything online.
Absolutely.
And I was really blessed that the infrastructure was already set up. A Healthful Life was already there. I was already doing the online thing. I was already coaching and training people online. It was set up. I wasn't doing the live workout. So even for me, that was a massive transition. Mm-hmm. Like, how do I work through the music piece and the this and the setup and the blah, 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 blah. I do it out of my garage. That's what works. Nobody's caring about what my garage looks like. They care that they get a good workout.
Right.
So that's what we do. And for me, though, it was creating that sense of curiosity showed me, even them showing up to a Zoom workout showed me how much trust and faith they had in me as a trainer. And that spoke bigger volumes than I think anything else. Because they could have very easily had said like, nah, I'm not into it, whatever. Right. And I would have respected that for sure. But the fact that they were saying, yeah, no, I'm going to totally do this. Yeah, no, I totally want to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to do this. I want to continue to be challenged. But what that also showed me and like positively reinforced for me was this idea of having a healthy lifestyle and how absolutely positive it can be for you and powerful it can be for you.
Sure.
And how it can be created from anything, even from your living room.
Right.
Because I know that we all saw it when COVID hit. It was I'm either going to go this way and I'm going to really focus on my health, or I'm going to go this way and I'm going to Netflix and chill until my butt goes numb. And I'm not saying
and gets wider. Don't leave that. It gets wider.
Yeah, I had one of my girls told me she could get the COVID-19, like the weight gain, or she could get COVID cut, and she was deciding to get COVID cut.
Oh, I like that COVID
and
cut.
I was like, hey. But my point to them was, my pivot as a business aside, even now, I would say, we don't know how long we're going to be in this thing for.
Right.
I don't know the status of gyms, open, close, inside, outside, inside. I don't know.
Right.
It's a lot for my brain to take on. And I also don't know, even when they do open, if in California, at least, they will open in a capacity that works for people on like a multitude of levels.
Sure.
So how can you continue to take care of yourself from home? Because that's the option that you're left with then.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There isn't anything else. So for me as a business owner, if I can help facilitate that, that's what I'm going to do.
So that begs the next question for me is that as you're facing that, and especially given, Gavin's penchant for keeping things closed. Anyway, we won't talk about governors around here, right?
That's a podcast.
Given the unknown direction of things being open whenever or forever, how long? I mean, are you thinking of keeping this particular venture of your business going? Maybe even taking it. I mean, maybe you already have taken it beyond the borders of San Diego and California.
The live virtual workouts are open literally to anyone who wants them. So what I've done with that, because it has gone outside of California already.
Okay.
Is I record all the sessions. They're in a Google Drive. And if a person can't make the workout live, they can go into the drive and access the workout later on or access a different day. Like we're only doing 3 days a week, but if they want to work out 5 days a week, they have options there.
Keep repeating.
Right they can repeat stuff or whatever. As far as continuing the live workouts, I actually had this discussion with the tribe not too long ago. And my perspective is I will keep doing it for as long as it is helpful to them. I get paid to work out. I tell everybody, oh shucks. I manifested my best. I wanted to wear yoga pants every day because I was sick of wearing fancy pants to work. I manifested this. I want to be working out regardless. And because of my injury, I understand how important it is. It is a non-negotiable in my life to have fitness in my life for my own health and well-being.
Absolutely.
So if it continues to serve them, I will continue to do it. Now, that does mean I had to pivot stuff and kind of where I saw like the business going from last year and this year, but that's okay to me. I'm not on this flash in the pan, super quick business adventure. This is a long term. This is my life. Like,
well, yeah, clearly. I mean, if you manifested your ability to, hang out and do your business in yoga pants, then that's pretty damn cool.
I had like 75 different pairs.
You and my wife would get along just fine. I'm telling you right now.
She's like, honey, can you go get me that black pair of yoga pants? And you're like, you're going to need to be more specific. I have 17 of them. And I know you're talking about one. Which one? She's like, the Lululemons from 2006. You're like, I don't know what those are.
Lululemons, yeah, right. Right on.
But it's for me, that's not the end of the world. If I can serve my community, and right now it's the immediate response. If I can serve my community, if I can alleviate stress, if I can help them feel healthy, if I can help them feel empowered and successful and strong and accomplished, that's my focus. Everything else will happen when it's supposed to. I'm not going to stress on it.
Absolutely. And that's the key. I think, it's for, I don't know how many episodes of this particular show you've listened to, that's a key I keep pounding into anyone who's listening, and probably a few that don't want to listen, is that, you're here to serve others, right? And the minute you relinquish yourself to that, that's when the magic really starts to happen. Because if, like you're saying, you're not here for that flash in the pan thing. Anyone can make one sale. Right. There's a sucker born every minute. And I get it, right? You can make that $5,000 sale. Try to make that second one, or try to sell that same person your upsell after you've done that flash sale. And they're like, this guy doesn't even care about me. He just wants my money. Right. But when you're here, like clearly you are to serve your tribe, as even you called them. I call them my tribe as well. You're here to serve your tribe. They're saying, hey, we want to continue work out. And you're like, all right, let's do this Zoom thing. All right. You don't have the gear yet. Let's try this body weight thing. And then, as the gear comes in, you start, I think this is magic, right? This is what it's all about.
But it's all like trial and error. You have to start somewhere with it. And it's not always going to be like the cute or comfortable thing, but that's, it's like starting a business or starting working out or whatever. There's never going to be a right time.
I like it.
It's the now time or it's the no time. So really it's completely up to you for what you want to do. Mm-hmm. I would say, let's just do it now. Why not?
Let's just try it, right? Worst thing that happens is they're like, well, that kind of sucked.
But even that for me and the way that I train is like you try something, it doesn't work the first time. Mm-hmm. Prime example, I've taught them how to do Turkish get-ups.
Uh-oh, I don't know what that one is.
You need to Dr. Google that one.
Dr. Google.
Dr. Google. And I taught them how to do it on a Zoom workout. Not one workout. We progressed into it because that is definitely progress into.
Okay.
And first couple times it was like, nope. And it was strong resistance. And they were like, what in the actual F are you making us do? And I was like, you'll get this. You'll get this. Don't get frustrated.
Stick with me.
Stick with me. Kind of know what I'm doing.
Okay.
It's my second day. That's also what I tell them. And we kept going and going and going. And now they can do it. And they're like, oh, okay. Now it all makes sense. Nice. Right? You have to progress into all of this. Even like my standpoint on business is like, I am exactly where I need to be. It's not where I'm going to be in 5 years or 10 years or whatever. And that's all good. The more important thing to me is the people who are coming to me now and they're like, if it were not for you during this COVID time, I don't know what I would have done.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Or the people who have come to me and they're like, I never felt like I was an athlete. I never felt like I could do anything fitness related or physical. You make me feel like I'm strong. And now I know that I'm strong. Like that is bigger to me.
Yeah, that's got to feel so rewarding.
That's the best thing that I can ever be told.
Nice.
The people who come to me and they're like, I've done stuff with you that I never thought possible. Because my biggest like overshadowing goal in creating this business was to create a space for people to come in that was truly a no judgment place. I want you to come in. I want you to be completely vulnerable so that you can figure out where your strength is and where your strength can go. Because I understand from a mindset perspective that the power behind that translates into every aspect of your life.
Yeah. I'm getting chills over here, y'all.
That's what I want because I had to do that for myself. I did that by myself, truly. So if I can do that with a group of people who love, encourage, and support one another to become the ultimate badass that they really are, I've won.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everything else that's going to happen with this will happen when it's supposed to.
And you're helping spread that ultimate badassness around. And I think that's the next level of thing is like you're taking that and you're imbuing that in a group of people who can then in turn imbue that to others versus, becoming couch potatoes.
I tell them now, I'm like, man, you're going to go and you're going to be like telling your partner, your spouse, whoever it is, I push pressed or I did this or I did that. And they're going to be like, I don't care. And you're going to be like, but it's so cool. And they're going to be like, I still don't care.
And they're like, whatever. I don't care.
But you feel good about it. And then you can walk away going, okay, I did that today.
Well, we won't share relationship advice because certainly if they're telling them I don't care, there may be some other issues they need to deal with, but that's a whole nother podcast.
Oh yeah. They're like, I don't understand.
All right. I want to be mindful of your time. We've just been riffing here and this has been a blast, but I want to ask you a 2-part question.
Okay.
A lot of the folks on here, they're listening, they're here to start, restart, kickstart, or to start leveling up their business. So I want to give you to share probably an entrepreneurial tip and then some sort of nice health or fitness tip.
Ooh, entrepreneurial tip. The best advice that I ever got when I started all of this was twofold. Mm-hmm. The first actually came in the form of a question. When I first started, this was an idea. I hadn't even really launched the formal side of the business. And I was asked by a mentor, why are you dreaming so small?
Ooh,
and
I've heard that question.
I don't know was my response. So if I don't know is your response, you're okay. It's okay. But the idea of putting limits on yourself when really you're more limitless than what you give yourself credit for.
Yeah. Amen. Right.
And it doesn't mean that all the things are going to happen tomorrow, but don't shove yourself into a box with it either. The other thing that I would recommend to anybody starting a business, leveling up or whatever, is make sure that you have a team around you who you trust and that you're not afraid to ask for help from.
Oh, thank you.
Which also means potentially hiring out certain aspects of your business. That was the biggest thing for me, was being able to hire out aspects of the business that I just didn't like doing.
Man, you are preaching to the choir on that one. I just dropped an episode that gave both those two pieces of advice yesterday at the time we're recording this, right? But it's a universal law, I think. But so many people are like, no, but it's my baby. I can't give it up.
No, there's certain things that you need to delegate. And I would actually say, maybe not necessarily as a subcategory to that, but another one, the biggest, most powerful tool that I've had with this is learning how to automate as much as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to.
She dropped 3. I don't know what else you all want. All right. She's giving you all this amazing physical advice, dropping 3 entrepreneurial tips. She's not done yet.
I'm busy. I do not have. Okay. Look at, first of all, I'm not going to remember to go into Instagram and post.
Exactly.
I'm not. So if I can save myself the time, and it kind of translates over into fitness, like that idea of there's certain aspects of your business that you can kind of automate to a degree, but you're going to have to like plan it on the forefront. Mm-hmm. In fitness, it's the same way. And what the biggest encouragement that I give to people is be intentional with what you are doing. If you half-ass your workout, you're going to get half-assed results. If you're cool with that, rock and roll all day long. If you're of my mindset, which is if I'm going to take the time out of my crazy day to exercise, I am going to make it worth my while.
Right.
You need to be more intentional with it, which is exactly like planning out your posts for Instagram. Sit down once a week, plan into your calendar when you're going to work out. Very simply. I give this tip to everyone. Book it into your calendar like you would book a doctor's appointment, because you're not going to cancel on the doctor. So there's no freaking reason you should cancel on yourself. Tracy's like, twins. I'm like, my shit.
I totally feel you.
Right there.
So with you on this.
And have the workout planned as well. Mm-hmm. Be realistic with your time with it. You know, if you have an hour free to work out, take into account however much time you're going to need to like get ready, eat whatever after. Mm-hmm. Take that time off the hour. That's your actual time to work out, and know what you're going to do in that time. Because the last thing that you need to do when you have 30 minutes open to work out is to spend 20 scrolling through Instagram or YouTube or whatever to figure out what it is that you're going to do. Because then you've just wasted your own time.
Wandering around the gym. What am I going to do?
Oh, yeah, no, I can't. Be intentional with it. And for the people who are like, I don't have the time to work out, my response to that normally, which is not always all that nice, is if you can spend 10 minutes refreshing your email, if you can spend however much time searching videos on Instagram right there with you, that little greyhound dog that's wearing the outfits, I'm here for her or him. I don't know if the dog is a girl or a boy. Okay. If you can get lost in the whole of TikTok, you have time to work out, yes. Right? I won't start a TikTok for that reason. I feel like I will drop off the face of the earth. And down she goes.
Insert toilet flushing sound here.
Yeah, I had a client tell me, she was like, I don't have time to work out. And, you know, she was talking about the stuff. And then she was like, I got on those TikTok videos and I spent 3 hours on TikTok.
You have time to work out, honey.
And I was like, buddy, you got some time to work out. But then I was also like, my monkey brain, I was like, 3 hours. Each TikTok video is approximately 15 seconds.
Right. The longest ones are 30, I think, right?
Oh, right?
That's a lot of videos.
I was like, what are you even watching on there? Oh my God.
Here was an eye-opening thing for me, coming from my now wife. Obviously you can tell, she's a wise woman, and I'm not just saying that because she's standing here in the room, because she's not, but anyway, is there's always time for the things that are important to you.
Oh, I say that too.
That's it right there. Right. Mm-hmm. So what you put up there and give your time to is telling you what's important to you. Mm-hmm. And I think so often people forget that they can only give of their own cup. Right. Yep. So I have to take care of myself to fill my cup in order to give to my tribe. And the minute my cup runneth dry, I better be already working on filling that bad boy up. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you anything. You know, you got to keep filling it up. And I started off way back when 15 minutes a day. That's what I gave myself. Right. I was doing the whole corporate America thing. 15 minutes. Now, when I worked at Coca-Cola and I had this amazing gym on site, I'd go to work early, go in there and, do my workout, do a little run, hour and a half, easy, right? Shower, be at my desk. It was awesome. Right. Now, but when that's not there, you're like, I have to find a gym. You make all the excuses, but when it's important to you, you find a way to do it. And even if it's, some mornings when I'm like, I got to go early, I roll out of bed, I'll drop in some push-ups, some sit-ups. Of course, I'm doing the wrong motion as you're looking at me, right? And just something to get the juices flowing in the morning, little side things, grab a gallon of milk and do some this and do some whatever, just to get your heart pumping and the juices flowing, and then go. Right. It's because it's just that important, so that when you do have the half hour, like yours, or whatever the time is you give yourself, you can go all out and do everything else. Okay, I'm going to do all the fun stuff. Something that makes my legs hurt.
Something that makes legs hurt.
I just say that because we just started a new routine the other day, and it was like right after that we did these squats, and we upped the weight, and I was like, I can feel this puppy warming up already.
I introduced one of my clients last week to kettlebell swings and Tabata at, as my daughter says, both same time. And then I saw him like 3 days later, and he was like, I woke up the next day and I was like, why do my legs hurt?
New muscles, y'all. New muscles.
And I was like, look at it. You just work differently. Granted,
awesome.
He was in the middle of it, and he was like, why do I feel like I'm sprinting when I'm not? And I was like, welcome to interval work.
Nice. All right. Again, I want to be mindful of your time. I want you to, if anyone wants to learn more about Lisa and all her amazingness, and they're like, damn, I gotta check this girl out. Where do we want to send them so they can find out more about you?
I'm going to roll through all the things, including the freebie.
Freebies. That's right. I almost forgot about to mention the freebies.
I have to put on my trainer cap when I talk about that. So
okay, go.
Easiest place is the website, which is ahealthfullife.org. And Tracy's the bomb, so he's going to have everything in the show notes, super organized and clearly.
I don't even need to say it.
You're like, yay! The next place is my Instagram, and my handle is my name, @Lisa Peranzo, and both link back to one another, so you don't need to stress about it if you remember one, but not the other. The website has the link to coaching with me, the YouTube channel, all the social media links, the blog, recipes, Amazon store, that's the storefront, so to speak. And then the Instagram can link back to all of that. So, I like to thank everyone who listens by giving you guys a freebie, also in the show notes, for you to download, which is a free workout guide that you can do from home. So here's the deal, though. This is me getting on my trainer hat right now, so excuse me.
No, go for it.
These are like baseline workouts. This is like the basic. There is obviously a level up that you can take it to, or a level down, depending on what works the best for your body, which is something that I train to, is this idea of being intuitive with your body when you work out. So that's not the end all be all. You can make it harder. You can make it easier. You can adjust it around for injury. Now, all of that being said, if you get into it and you're like, I don't know what to do, or you're doing something and you're moving from a place of acute pain, not work, acute pain, which is a very different thing, please reach out and talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Explain it to me. Let me help you out. Let me tweak the workout for you. Even if it is like, I've been doing this workout, it's starting to feel easy. I want to incorporate weights and I don't know how. Let me know. And I will mess it all up for you. I'll make all the changes. I'll send it back to you. I'll help you out however I can, because I truly do come at this from a place of service, that if I am not helping my tribe, which is now all of you guys too, be your absolute best, then I am doing absolutely nothing with, quite frankly, a whole lot of money I spent on school,
all that education,
all this stuff. So
you got bills to pay, y'all.
Yeah, I don't even care about the bills. Like, why did I do it if I'm not helping?
Right on.
So please reach out. Ask me, hit me up on, usually social media is the easiest one to go to through my Instagram, on my DMs, easiest way to get to me, but the email is on the website too. So
sweet. All right. Well, there you have it. Lisa's going to be giving you all kinds of goodness to get you pumped. Oh gosh, I was almost did that Saturday Night Live thing. Anyway, I'm just dating myself. She's laughing. Lisa, I really appreciate you hanging out and bringing all this amazing knowledge and all these healthy bombs and sharing your story. And we're gonna have to stay in contact, because if concerts come back around, we're gonna have to hit a concert sometime.
Oh yeah, we are. I can already see my husband's into all the same music too. That's perfect.
That would be awesome. Yes. Thanks so much, Lisa. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it, my dark horse friends and family. Lisa Peranzo dropping value bomb after value bomb, fitness value bombs and business value bombs. So what thoughts or ideas did you come away with? Let me share a few that I came away with. First off, thought number one, she started in a different industry. You see, Lisa, like so many of my previous guests, had her heart originally set on a completely different path. Remember, Lisa wanted to be a studio musician, and she even called out the fact she didn't want to be that on-stage musician. No, she wanted to be behind the scenes in the studio. That much she did know. But here's what I think right here, I want to pause for any of my younger listeners and perhaps the parents, and kind of reinforce a question that Lisa had asked. Is it really completely necessary for us to have our entire life mapped out and coordinated when we're only 18? Or even younger, if you think about it, because, a lot of the high schoolers that are still in high school are being pushed to choose career paths and life journeys. And they're like, dude, I haven't even finished high school yet, right? And I think the answer to that question is going to be different for everyone, right? Just like the life is going to be different. But I think about it from my life path. If I would have taken the path that I had chosen in my teens, I'd probably be wrecked up like, worse than Lisa in her awful injury, because I wanted to be a stuntman for a long time, right? Or, I could have taken any one of the various paths that I had wished upon in my teen years, with the stars in my eyes. I had the usual dreams of being a rock star or being a movie star and so on and so forth. It was all about fame and fortune, right? That's where my young brain is at. But speaking of brains, let's pause for a moment and look at the fact that our brains aren't even fully developed until we're like 25, right? Maybe a little younger for some, a little older for others. And that, for me, was right about the time I found my passion for computers, my passion for connecting with people. And shortly after that, a few years after that, I found my passion for speaking and coaching folks. And absolutely zero, nada, none of that even clicked in the slightest bit for me. I didn't even know about these paths when I was in my teens. So have a map when you're in your teens? Yeah, okay. I'll say, it's a good idea to know what direction you're headed, right? You know me, I'm all about that goal setting thing, right? But if I was to tell you should have your entire life planned out, probably not so much. I think it's a great idea, again, to have some direction you're going into. But whenever you hear me talk about the goal setting, what do you hear me talk about after you set those goals? That you keep reviewing the results. You keep reviewing your passions. You keep reviewing your trajectory in order to best serve yourself and to best serve your tribe the best way you can. Just like Lisa did when she went through her journey and the changes that came along as a result of the things that happened in her life, right? In Lisa's case, right, she went into ROTC and was training. She was training to serve, but then she had that severe injury event happen. And that led to her journey into fitness. Originally, she came from that fitness path as an attempt to avoid living in that constant state of chronic pain that came from her injury. But, it has led to this whole new awakening with her as she awakens the fitness journey with all of those within her sphere of influence. So the question for me to you is, how can you help others by sharing your journey, right? Where you were, what brought you to where you are, and where are you going? By sharing what you've learned, right? By sharing your wins and even your pain. Thought number 2, do not get stuck into that box of, quote, you cannot do it because, insert excuse here, unquote. You see, after her injury and that long recuperation time that followed, Lisa did not want to get stuck into that box of, I can't do it because, or she can't do it because. I think this is a lesson we should all take into heart. And I'm not just talking about physical injuries or ailments. I see so many out there that are saying things like, I can't do it because, again, insert excuse here, right? We've all heard them. And go ahead, raise your hand. We've even said them. I know I have on occasion. You have said them. Just go ahead, raise your hand. I know you have. I feel you. We've all said it, right? I can't do it because I'm too young. I can't do it because I'm too old. I don't know how. I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. I mean it. Just shut the hell up, right? Look, here's the deal. You get out there and you can do just about anything your heart truly desires if you just get up off your butt and start taking action. Now, I did say just about anything because I'm mindful that there's few things that some cannot do or will not ever be able to do for specific reasons. Like, my man Tracy, right? This dark horse right here. I'm never giving birth to a baby. It just won't happen. No matter how many pregnancy courses I go to or pills I take, it's just not going to happen. I'll never play in the NBA. But then again, I don't have a passion for it, so I'll never try. But you get my point, right? I could ride a horse. It's not good for me because I am deathly allergic to horses. I could do it, don't want to. Big difference. But anything I have been ever truly passionate about and got up off my butt and started taking consistent action after to attain, check, I got it. And you can too. So stop lying to yourself. Stop giving yourself all those excuses. Get up off your butt. Go ahead, get up off your butt right now. If you're driving, don't get up off your butt. You might want to stay there and be safe, right? Take that first step and then repeat. Take that next step and the next and keep repeating. All right. That leads me right into thought number 3. Follow your passion and your curiosity. Lisa had this passion for fitness, but not just a passion, but a curiosity for the deeper things behind it. The mindset that went behind fitness for those that were successful with it, right? The biomechanics behind the scenes within the fitness. How your body moves, how the movements impacted before and after industry, how a young person's movements are different than someone like myself who's a little longer in the tooth, right? This passion and curiosity led to wanting to follow that fitness path full time, right? And she did the cubicle breakaway. She broke away from corporate America, her corporate America gig, and jumped into fitness full steam ahead. So, what passions and curiosities do you have naturally that you can leverage into your business, whether you're just starting, restarting, kickstarting, or starting to level up? Yeah, take those passions and those inner curiosities and dig in. Learn, and then learn some more. Keep learning. Keep feeding your curiosity. Do not just learn about the whats of your business. Learn about the whys. Why does it work? Why does it not work? Why do your customers like it? Why do they need it? Why will they buy it even if they don't buy it from you, right? Learn what makes them tick. Learn what makes your industry tick. What pain points your audiences are facing. How can you be not just the symptom of relief how can you not just relieve the symptom of their pain, but perhaps you can even be the cure to what's ailing them, right? And here's the thing. The only way you'll spend all this time that's going to be needed to get any of these answers is to follow a topic that you're passionate about, that you have a deep-rooted curiosity to learn about every single day. So, do you? Thought number 4. Share your story to engage your audience's point of view. And Lisa's able to connect with her audience and her tribe and her clients through the stories of her own personal fitness journey, right? She would picture herself during that journey, remembering herself, post-surgery, metal coming out of that shattered and healing foot with all the feelings and the thoughts of not knowing whether she'd ever even walk again. Whoa, right? Wrapping all that into the thought of you can get through every single one of your previous bad days, then you can get through this, whatever this is. I mean, think about that. You've already made it through all those worst days, those bad days, those awful days, those, oh my God, why did that happen to me days? You've already made it through those. So whatever it is you're going through right now, today, piece of cake, right? I mean, think about it. You've heard me tell my story about losing my daughter, Krista, and my story of, getting out of the drug scene after being deep into it for a number of years, and going through the horrible divorce and all that nastiness. I made it through all those. Those are some of the worst days of my life. So anything I'm going through now, I say from experience, you can make it through if you can make it through all those bad and worst days, then this thing you're looking at right now, that, how do I set up this business, or how do I set up this database, or how do I write a blog post? Psst, come on, that's a piece of cake in comparison, right? And last but not least, thought number 5, why the hell are you dreaming so small? That was a question that posed to Lisa by her mentor, which I think is an amazing question for each and every one of us to ponder, right? As you're reviewing whatever it is you're going through or just went through this past week. I'm always talking about rechecking your goals or just taking some time to reflect on what's happened to you of late. Ask yourself that question. Why are you dreaming so small? I'm just going to leave that wisdom right here for you all to ponder. Why are you dreaming so small? Phew, and I know she left so many other amazing health bombs and business bombs, but those are some of the keys that I came away with. What inspiring tips or thoughts resonated with you today? Whatever they were, take some time today, write them down, put them into action, get out there, run your race, get your results, and let me hear about them, right? You can reach out to me at tracy@darkhorseschooling.com. Share the tips and ideas that you came away with, how you put them into action, and what results you got from them. Heck, I'll probably even bring you on the show so you can share with everybody all the amazing results that you got. All right, now next week on our next interview episode, our guest is Jennifer Cloak. Now, Jennifer's a spiritual teacher with a passion for helping people to choose freedom over anxiety. With her business background and her practical sense, she's able to help conscientious entrepreneurs build an abundance business model without selling their soul. You're going to want to check this lady out. She's amazing. Now, I know you want to keep getting all these valuable tips and the inspirational stories from the guests I'm lucky enough to bring on. So please, again, go down there, hit that subscribe button. While you're down there, go ahead and drop us a 5-star rating. Leave us some kind words in the review. And of course, do not keep all this entrepreneurial GOLD all to yourself. Share the podcast with other entrepreneurs and business owners you know will get value from it. And with that, I'm going to leave you as I always do. Think successfully and take action.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.